Hello, everyone. So today I have a very interesting topic. Matter of fact, I'm going to set up a little bit better because this is very interesting to me. So the question for today is, before I get into it, what should we do with mooners? What's a mooner, you ask? People who are born on the moon. Okay. So obviously this is in the future here. So let's go back a little bit. All right. So there are plans for say NASA to go back to the moon. They're planning. There's an Artemis mission for NASA to go back to the moon. NASA has this plan. They want to not only put people back on the moon. They want the first woman to be on the moon, the first person of color to go on the moon, all this kind of stuff. But also eventually, I believe they have plans. It might be part of the Artemis plan to build a moon base. Regardless, somebody or some country within say 100 years or so, maybe way less than that, is going to build some kind of moon base. People are already in orbit around the Earth, and part of that plan is to kind of prepare for further missions further into the solar system. The closest place, obviously, is the moon. And people start going there. Eventually, they're like, okay, we're going to want to stay here for long periods of time, even if it's in orbit around the moon or actually build a base on the moon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now, obviously, well, what do we humans do? We have sex with each other, and eventually, if you have sex enough times, someone's going to get pregnant. Someone at some time along the line, these people are staying up in the, space for long periods of time. They're on a space station for several months. Maybe if there is a moon base, people are going to be on the moon for longer periods of time. Eventually, someone's going to have a kid on the moon. Someone's going to get pregnant on the moon. Boom, let's stop right there, because this is where the problem arises. So, well, however many years you want to jump in the future, let's jump to 2050. Just say, okay, let's say by 2050, um, either we're starting or we kind of have a moon base or whatever. Let's just say that that's the year it happens. 2050, the first person is conceived in outer space. It may be way sooner than that, but let's say 2050, the first person is conceived in outer space, whether it's in some orbiter around the moon or on the moon or something to that nature, right? What do we do with that person? Because let me tell you why. Okay, let's say we do nothing. Say the person is living, the mom is, who's carrying the baby, is living on a base on the moon under normal gravity conditions, because we haven't figured out how to alter gravity yet, at least for long periods of time. So she's just living there under, the moon's gravity. Of course, you have your spacesuit for air and all that, but she's still under the conditions of the moon's gravity, right? Okay, so as soon as that baby's conceived, I'm no biologist, and I would love to hear, a biologist's take on this. But from my understanding, my basic understanding, as soon as you're born, you start getting to adapted to things, obviously from things that your mom eats, and I would presume gravity. Gravity permeates everything through the womb, inside, outside the womb, everything. And so as soon as that baby's conceived, it's starting to get used to that lower gravity on the moon, which is 6 times less than here on Earth. And so as its bones are growing, eventually after, however many months until the baby's bones start growing and all this kind of stuff, I'm assuming, again, because I'm not a biologist, love to hear from a biologist, I'm assuming that this baby is becoming adapted to the moon's gravity as it's in the womb. Okay? Now, assuming that's true, all the way until it's born, then obviously when it's born, it's like forced to be adapted to the moon's gravity, right? And so what do you do? Soon as it's found out that a baby has been conceived, do you, like, okay, you need to get on a spaceship immediately, fly you back to Earth? That gonna be the protocol? You get on that spaceship, we need to fly you back to the moon, because every day that you're here, especially a month after month, that baby would start to become accustomed to the moon's gravity. Its bones are going to be, say, weaker, because it's not going to be able to endure the strength of the Earth's gravity. You need to get you back to Earth so that baby could be, I want to say raised properly, but not raised properly. What's the word? Developed properly. Is that going to be the protocol? Is that what we should do? Well, what if not? What if you're like, okay, woman, on the moon with your baby coming, we're going to let you sit on the moon and have your baby, So her full term, she's going to be on the moon again with the 6 times less gravity. That baby's going to be born. Now, at that point, again, from what I understand, that baby has been developing with the moon's gravity for 9 months, 9, 10 months, whatever. And now, if you're like, okay, the baby's born, let's whisk off the Earth, that might be too late. The baby might be already, even if it's not fully adapted to the moon's gravity, it might be enough to where you send that baby to the Earth, 6 times more gravity. Is it going to crush the baby? Is it going to cause him pain? I don't know. But now let's keep going with it. Let's keep going with this. Okay? Lady has the baby on the moon. She's, since conception, since the child's been conceived, she stayed on the moon. She stays on the moon till the child's born. The child stays there till 5 years, 10 years old. That child is a mooner all the way. Okay? That child now is fully adapted to the moon's gravity. That's all it knows. That's all its body knows. That's all its bones know. And now, say at 10 years old, you try to send that child to the moon. It can't handle 6 times more gravity than it's been accustomed to its whole life. It's going to get crushed. Its bones are going to just break going down to Earth. It's going to be like all of a sudden just be under like all this water, or having like like some 600 pound person sitting on top of you. Okay, so the question is what to do with mooners. If we are going to go to the moon, like I said, eventually it's going to happen. Someone's going to be conceived on the moon. What is the protocol? What should we do with them? Like I said, should they be whisked off to Earth immediately? You need to get on a spaceship right now, go back to Earth so that baby could get used to Earth's gravity, and then eventually, if you want to bring the child back, whatever. So what do we do? That question is gonna need to be answered, because eventually, someone is gonna be conceived on the moon. There's gonna be mooners, and what do you do with them?